Okay, so let's begin our short core practice. You're going to start lying down on your back. We're only going to be meditating for a couple of minutes now, and then for a longer a little bit at the end. Bend your knees, place your feet to the floor. Let your hands rest. If you're comfortable with it, place both hands on the belly, maybe one closer to the pelvis, one closer to the rib cage. You could stack your fingers or your hands if that feels better. Let your eyes rest. And of course, just a reminder, I know you're already committed to this, but you won't do anything that bothers your back, of course. There are some things that we do when we practice core work that might cause sensation in the back. And that's okay. We just won't do anything that, of course, bothers it. So notice as you breathe here, where you feel any movement in your torso, not forcing any specific movement to happen, but noticing what already is. And noticing what you've got going on. So I've always been told that what happens in our life can affect the way we feel physically. And I've been like, yeah, I believe that, and sometimes brush it aside. I'm so fully convinced of that now. I find evidence for it all of the time. So just take note, whatever is going on with your life, you don't have to call it good, you don't have to call it bad, but note that whatever's happening, how you slept, what and whom you've dealt with, how you've been treating your own self, can all affect what you feel when you exercise, when you move about the world, the way you respond to the signals your body sends. And I found that no matter what the goals are for any of the people I work with, anytime you can inject more rest and more joy into your life, you likely will benefit from it. It will likely have a positive effect on all of the outcomes, again, no matter what your goals are. So we're going to see if we can get every ounce out of this very short practice, as if we were tasting it and it was just the most delicious thing and we wanted to find out what all of the ingredients were. So we're really taking our time with it. Let's do that with the next few inhales and exhales. So notice the texture of the breath, the slowness of the breath, the movement in the belly and the rib cage. Again, we're going to see if we can just inject this whole experience with as much joy and occasional, frequent bouts of rest as we can. So maybe it feels a little sweeter to breathe more easily, slowly, demanding significantly less of your body. Maybe you flip the hand so the other one's on top or in front. Maybe place a hand on the chest so you can sense your heartbeat, and maybe just imagine that just by thinking on it, you could slow down your heartbeat. Imagine you actually had the power to slow it down. Now, as far as the core is concerned, there has been so many changes in all sorts of movement industries about what the core is, what is and isn't part of the core. Many people are just calling it the middle of the body now, not even referring to it as the core anymore. So it's worth noting that for the most part, the core is much of the torso. So that includes the abdomen, the waist, the back. Some people will say all the way down to the pelvis, all the way up to the shoulders. So everything that we do today, all the movement is going to be this hopefully joyful exploration of much of the center of the body. So let's take a breath in, and when we breathe out, we'll open the eyes and allow the arms to just rest by the floor by our sides. Feel your feet on the ground. So we're going to use the limbs and the hands and the feet to help us explore the core a little bit more. Feel your feet on the ground, feel your breath, feel your shoulders press down a little bit, and then go ahead and lift your hips up some. So a real mild bridge pose. You might feel this mostly in the back of the hips, but we're going to feel as though as we push the feet down and breathe, we can just hold on to the floor a little more with the toes and then drag the heels towards the shoulders. And maybe your hips lift a little bit higher. So you're not lifting your feet, you're still pressing them down, pressing your big toes down, and just dragging your feet towards your shoulders. Go ahead and come on down. And then maybe let your knees drop side to side a couple of times. When you're ready, point your knees up to the ceiling again. Now, oftentimes we intentionally tuck the tailbone here. We do that posterior tilt in the pelvis, and that helps to engage the back of the legs a little bit more. You only do that to the degree that feels good in your back, but lift your hips up some more, just like we did before. Drag your heels towards your shoulders, and then feel as if you were kneading the floor like a cat. Feel your left foot knead the floor, and then feel just your right foot knead the floor. Your left foot, your right foot, and then both feet knead the floor. Maybe shrug your shoulders towards each other underneath you and feel your hips lift a little bit more. Imagine you could engage all of the muscles of your back, just the teeniest bit when you breathe in. And then when you breathe out, relax everything down. Let the knees come in towards the chest, and you can hold onto your legs with your hands. And inhale, fill up. And exhale, release everything, release everything. Let's hold on to just the left leg and reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe close your eyes, but what I'd like for you to do is get a sense of what you feel happening in your abdomen as you lower and lift your right leg. So you don't have to use a lot of effort here. Just lower the leg. What do you feel around the abdomen without controlling anything? And then lift the leg. Lower the leg. Lift the leg. Notice your breath. Lower the leg. Lift the leg. Now what we're going to do is pull the abdomen towards the floor. Lower the leg. Pull the abdomen towards the floor. Lift the leg. Pull the abdomen towards the floor. Lower the leg. Lift the leg. Pull the abdomen towards the floor. One more time. Lower the leg. Pull the belly button in. Lift the leg. And now what you'll do is almost push your belly button out, like almost a sense of bracing. So we're really affecting the volume of the center. You might have to remind yourself to relax your eyes and your jaw. But almost feel like you were trying to push your belly towards the ceiling. Lower your leg. Lift your leg. Like an inflated balloon, the abdomen is. Lower the leg. Lift the leg. One more time. Inflate your belly. Lower the leg. Lift the leg. And relax. Bend your knee. Move around however you want to. So we have this societal inclination to suck it in a lot. And it's so unnecessary so much of the time. In fact, the abdomen is meant to move in all sorts of ways to help support the body as it moves through space. And one of those ways is pushing out, one of them is pulling in, one of those is resisting movement. And it just goes on and on and on. Let's reach the left leg up towards the ceiling. Now go ahead and relax. Notice your breathing. I'm intentionally not directing you to breathe at a specific time. Just let your body take control of that. Lower the left leg down towards the floor and lift it up. And what do you feel? Whatever you feel is correct. But what do you feel as you lower your leg? Real easy, not working much. And lift it. And lower. And lift. Now drive your belly towards the floor. Lower your leg. Lift your leg. Drive the abdomen towards the floor. The whole time, lower your leg. Lift your leg once more. Belly to floor, lower the leg. Belly to floor as you lift your leg. Now imagine you can inflate your whole abdomen like a balloon. Lower your leg, pushing your belly out towards the ceiling, pushing your waist out, pushing your back towards the floor, lift your leg. And then twice more. Find that again, pushing out of the abdomen as you lower and lift your leg. And then relax. So another thing that we tend to ignore because there's so much focus on the muscle of the abdomen is that there is quite a significant amount of organs in there too. And they are protected by that muscle, by those tissues. Let's make our way up to sit. And we're going to place the feet to the floor in front. Reach the arms to the floor too. Take a breath in, lift your chest. So sit as tall as you can, even if you have to lean back some, and breathe out. See how your back feels. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bring them back in space a little bit. Inhale, reach your arms forward. And pause. We're going to do that just a little bit faster. When you're ready to, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, reach them back. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, reach them forward. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, reach them back. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, reach them forward. And up and back. And up and forward. And once you're ready, let your knees drop out to the sides. Hold on to your shins. And like cow pose, you'll ever so slightly lift your sit bones up behind you. Lift your chest. Lift your face. And then again, just slightly, don't exaggerate it too much. Tuck your tailbone, the knees can point up to the ceiling, round your back, drop your head. Inhale, pull yourself forward, lift your sternum, lift your eyes. And exhale, go back. Let's do that 1 or 2 more times, real easy, not a lot of range of motion. And then let's add, for the sake of how good it feels, so only go so far, it still feels good. A little bit more movement. Maybe you squeeze your hands onto your legs and pull your chest forward and bend your elbows and look up. Maybe when you go back, you let go of your knees. Round your back and tuck your chin, getting closer to the floor. Inhaling to pull yourself forward. And exhaling to go back. Maybe. Remember, it's all a maybe. You're finding what works for you. Maybe you pull your belly towards your spine when you lift up and when you go back. And maybe, because this is equally interesting and equally healthy, depends on the body, remember context is everything, maybe you don't pull your belly in at all. So when you're ready, so we're a little bit more fire, a little bit more oomph here, you're going to sit up like you did before with your knees pointing up to the ceiling. And you're going to bring your arms forward and then see if you can lean back ever so slightly. So the abdomen has to work to keep you from falling towards the floor. And all you're going to do is pulse here. You might come onto your heels. Take a breath in and breathe out. Lean back some and forward some. And back some and forward some. Now your quads have to do quite a bit of work here too. And if that's all you're feeling, open your knees out to the side. Go back some and forward some. Back some and forward some. Maybe inhale back or exhale back. It's up to you and forward, but we're trying not to round the spine too much. Remember, one of the things the core does brilliantly and wonderfully is resist movement. And then when you're ready to, you're going to release your hands to the floor behind you and just let everything unplug. And just soak up. Don't do anything. Don't do anything at all. Now from here, we're going to see if we can place the elbows to the floor and bend the knees again. So remember, your core and your quadriceps are going to work together. Your abdomen and your quadriceps work together a lot for a lot of movement of the hips. We're going to see if we can get the core to do most of the work. So let's lift the feet up, and you might have to turn your knees out to the side. And you're going to reach either one or both legs forward a little bit. Please do one if you want to, and then take it back in. And then you'll switch the legs. If your neck feels stiff here, you can tuck your chin some. So again, maybe it's both legs forward and then both legs in. Maybe it's one leg forward and then one leg in. Again, we're going to see if we can suck out of this every last drop of what we feel. So maybe that means you close your eyes or you move extra slowly. Sometimes it means you move extra quickly. Notice your breath. Remember, you can choose the pace. It's not yoga when you move fast. There's a lot of older types of yoga, different types of yoga where fast moving is asked for. So keep on moving your legs. Doesn't matter if they're parallel. It doesn't matter if you're moving fast or slow. Just notice how your abdomen feels as you do this. Notice how your back feels. And if your back feels too much, keep your feet on the floor and just lift them up one at a time. And then when you're ready to rest, rest on your side. You can pick which. Put your elbow to the floor, bend your knees. And when you're ready to, anchoring down with your elbow and down with the pinky toe side of the bottom foot, lift your hips up some. You can place your hand to your top hip. If you wanted to, you could lift your knees. It's up to you. And when you're ready to, take a breath in, take that top hip and just nudge it forward a little bit, breathe out. Maybe reach your arm up towards the ceiling. If you wanted to, you could bring your fingertips to your head. So you're going to hear all these steps and you're going to find the one that you think is most interesting. So the thing you're most curious about. And then from here, slowly point your nose and your chest to the floor. If you want to, see how it feels on your back. And then back up towards the ceiling. And then back down towards the floor, maybe on the exhale. Just pointing your chest down and then up. And then down. And then up. And maybe one more. Before releasing your hip and flipping over to the other side. Hand to hip. Maybe knee stays down, but hips come up. Maybe the knees come up too. Try to do what you did on the other side. So you're pushing your forearm into the floor in a way that feels good on your elbow and your shoulder. The top hip is going to dip forward a little bit because the tendency is for it to drop back behind you. We're not going to let that happen. And you can reach your arm up if you want to. Maybe place your fingertips behind your ear. So we did this 4 times on the other side. If you'd like to keep that symmetry there, dip down, pointing your chest towards the floor, and then pointing it back out to the side. And down towards the floor. Notice your breath. And to the side. And down. To the side. Doesn't matter how far down you go. This is a pretty deep twist. Just make sure it feels okay in your back. And then you can release your hips. Climb up onto hands and knees. And when you're ready to, with your hands pretty far away from your knees, inhale, reach your right leg back. Exhale, take your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale, take your right knee in towards your right cheekbone. Round your back, drop your head. Inhale, take your leg back. Remember, your hands are far away from that left knee. Take your right knee under you towards your left elbow. Inhale, take it back. When you're ready, place your knee to the floor. Walk your hands in so that you're standing on your knees. And then again, tuck the tailbone ever so slightly. Again, not to the degree that it bothers your back, but think mostly like you're trying to move your glutes towards your knees. So it's more for activating the hips. Glue your arms by your sides. Breathe in, stand really tall, like too tall. And then when you exhale, take everything back and come on back up. And everything back and come on back up. And everything back. Come on back up. Release your hands to the floor. And walk either your hands forward or your knees back so that you could be in plank pose where you need to lift your knees up. Plank pose with the knees down, left leg lifts up though. And then exhale, drive your left knee towards your left shoulder. And inhale, reach it back. And exhale, take it in towards the face. Drop your head. Take your leg back. Last one, knee comes under the body towards the right elbow. And take it back. Lower the knee to the floor. Lower your forearms to the floor. And then from here, you're going to see if you can wiggle your knees back even further. Pushing your forearms down. If it hurts your back, you walk your arms back in, of course. Toes tucked. When you're ready to, tuck the tailbone, lift the knees, lower the knees. 4 more times, lift the knees, lower the knees. Lift the knees, lower the knees. Couple more if you can. And then your knees are going to come down. You'll come back up onto your hands. And when you're ready to, reach your right leg back, drive the right knee in towards the face, drop the head, step the right foot to the right thumb. Make sure there's not a ton of space between your front and back legs. Lift your torso. Inhale, lift the left arm up. And exhale, side bend ever so slightly to the right. Maybe try pulling the belly in. Maybe try pushing it out. Come on back up. And then let your right arm float up too. Breathe in. Exhale, bend the elbows like a cactus. Inhale here and exhale, twist your torso to the right. From this twist, bring your right hand to your hip. Reach your left arm up again. And then ever so slightly, with your tailbone tucked, side bend to the right. Come on back up. Release your hands to the floor. Push the floor away, step back into plank pose and breathe. 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 Release the knees. Inhale, left leg goes back. Exhale, left knee steps up to the thumb. You can always pick it up and put it there if you need to, you know. Lift your torso up. Resting the left hand where you'd like, reach your right arm up, inhale, and side bend to the left. Notice your breath. Come on, back up. Float your left arm up too, and exhale, bend the elbows. And when you're ready to, breathe in, and when you breathe out, rotate your rib cage to the left some. And then release in your twist. Release your left hand to your left hip, almost like you could push your hip down with your hand. Reach the right arm up again, and then, so you're doing a twist and a side bend, even a little back bending, so ever so slightly. Like you're trying to point your left elbow down towards the floor some. Lean to the left. Come on back up. Bring your hands down. And step back, plank pose. Lift the right leg. Exhale, reach it out to the right. Put it to center. Lift the left leg. Don't move the torso. Exhale, reach your left leg out to the left. Bring it to center. Put it down. Breathe in. And as you're breathing out, lower your knees. Lower your everything else to the floor. Bring the hands back in space. Point the feet. Inhale, lift the chest up some. Exhale, lift the right leg. Inhale, put it down. Lift your chest. Exhale, lift the left leg. Remember, your back is your core. Lower it down. Inhale, lift your chest higher. Perhaps lift your arms, driving your shoulder blades towards each other. And then maybe lift your legs. And breathe here for 5 breaths. And then come down. And roll onto your back. When you get there, take your right knee and drop it over to the left. So the left leg is long. You can reach your right arm out and breathe here. Let's take a really full breath in, like you were trying to access quite a bit of lung tissue. And then you can let the beginning of the exhale be fast, but then really slow it down when you get to the middle, and especially the end. And let's come back to center. Take your left knee in, right leg out. And we'll take that left knee all the way over to the right. If it doesn't feel good to do this, of course, just settle your right leg under your left leg. But after you found a comfortable twist, no work here. Take a deep breath in, really deep. Let everything move, don't hold anything down. And then exhale quickly at first, and then slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. And come back to center. Give your legs one more little squeeze. And then reach them forward for Shavasana. Pressing the back of the head into the floor after you lie down, lift your chest, drive your shoulder blades a little in towards each other, and then rest back down. And let your arms stretch in any way that feels really good by your sides. You might tuck your chin a little bit and then place the back of the head back down on the floor. So there's lots of comfort in the back. And let your body take over the breath. So often, thinking back as you rest, just for a moment, to this idea of accomplishing a lot of the goals that you have by injecting joy and rest into your life. Sometimes when we think of injecting joy into our life, we translate that into immediate gratification. But when I am talking about joy here, I mean, how much can you get out of this experience, out of this second, out of this thought that you're having now? Can you experience it very fully? Can you listen without interrupting, as if it was the most interesting thing in the world? And you might find that the action, the development of this type of attention, even with something like abdominal work, can show you that with enough attention to detail and to nuance, anything can become interesting. Like this next breath. And then say to yourself, quietly, like a mantra, ease, ease, ease. Now, if you had the time to rest longer, certainly do. But if you'd like to start moving around some, stretching, rolling onto your side and up to sit, go ahead. Take your time. Remember, you can always stop the video and rest longer anytime you can. When you eventually do come up to sit, maybe again you place a hand to the belly. You can even place a hand or the back of your hand to your lower back. And just be with the body. Listen. Listen to how your body feels, what your body says. Not what you've been told. And then slide both hands behind you, holding on to one hand or wrist with the other. Have a breath in. And as you breathe out, really comfortably fold forward. And thank you very, very much.